2, 1.
Good evening, everyone. This is High Point Mayor Jay Wagner. For those of you listening online, calling to order our High Point City Council meeting for August 7th, 2023. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out. The weather seems to be getting worse out there, so thank you for braving the weather. Hopefully you brought your umbrella because it may be raining when we leave. I want to thank anyone who's listening online as well. All members of council are currently present here at City Hall. And we'll begin our meeting. I'm going to ask everyone to please rise for a moment of silence, followed by our Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we're going to begin. Our first item will be our strategic plan update, and I will begin by recognizing Councilman Chris Williams for that.
Thank you, Mayor. The following report will cover for the month of July 2023. Under minimum housing, we've got 25 new citizen complaints, 6 new city initiated cases. Demolition orders, we have 2 properties with contracts pending for demolition, 4 properties out for bid for demolition. 1 order initiated demolition, that is 1707 Welborn Street. 6 properties pending owner repairs, and that's 1105 Forest, 613 Manley, 524 Cross, 1222 Carter, 1004 Prospect, and 337 Wingo. Under the public nuisance, we have 121 new citizen complaints and 163 new city initiated cases. 144 cases abated, 28 by the city and 116 by the owners. Under zoning, we have 23 new citizen complaints, 38 new city-initiated cases, and 147 signs collected. Total activity cases is 563, and we have 233 minimum housing, that's 201 public nuisance, and 129 zoning. I'll now turn the floor over to Lori Loosemore for further information.
Sorry. It doesn't show it. Oh, there it goes. Over here. Good evening, Mayor, City Council, and City Manager. So the update for July for local codes, we beat the citizens and complaints this month because we're supposed to be 100% proactive. So this month, city-initiated cases was 163 public nuisance cases against the 121 that the citizens called in. And then minimum housing is 6 that we initiated, and to 25 of the citizens called in. And then zoning, we had 38 city-initiated cases compared to the 23 that were called in from citizens. The property that I'm going to show you today is a cute little house, 1002 Lake Avenue, that we actually started inspection back in August of 2017, so it's been quite a while. We held a hearing. We issued an order to repair, not an order to repair or demolish, and they had a compliance date of December 2017, and the property was sold June 21st, 2022, and then it was sold again February 7th, 2023. I remember us having a discussion with the property owner that originally purchased it, and they were not going to be able to get started immediately on the repair, so then they sold it. Then the owner who bought it in in February, then applied for their permits and got their inspections and did everything they were supposed to do and had it completed just last month. And I did not have any interior pictures in 2017. We were doing things a little differently. But this is what the outside of the house looked like at that time from the front view and then the back view. And then, of course, it was repaired last month, and this is what it looks like now. And I believe they said the gentleman who bought it and fixed it up, his mother is going to live there. That's it. Any questions?
Thank you, Lori.
Thank you.
That's all we have, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Holmes.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to say thank you for all those who came out Saturday for our official brand launch. The response was overwhelming. The input from the city from our constituents on how much they appreciated the brand and how well they connected to it was amazing. So that is one of the milestones that we had to cross our official brand launch. Next thing that we'll see is a rollout across our city services. You may already see that coming on things, communications from the city, the new logo, but we'll do some other things in the built environment. You'll start to see that on some of our city vehicles. And so those are the next phases of the rollout and implementation plan.
Okay. Thank you.
Mayor, if I
Yes.
could just say, major kudos, Councilman Holmes, Ryan Ferguson, I don't think he's here, but he heads up the marketing team. I see Noel, I know Brandon's in the back, and a few other folks, manager, director, Hollis, I don't think he's here either. But those folks did such a bang-up job. Mayor, big shout out to you giving out the T-shirts to everyone. You didn't save me a double X, that's okay, I'm not mad about that. I had to get
You gotta
another
get in
one
line like
down
everybody
the
else,
road.
man.
But that event, I got to tell you, the coordination that was done to ensure it could be done the same day as a baseball game, as the social district Saturday, Food Hall had its concert going on, concert on the street. It was so active, it was so positive. It was folks from every corner of our city there, of all ages, all backgrounds, and all types. And it was such a joyous day. Even God smiled on that day because the rain clouds came and they probably only dropped 100 drops in total on everyone out there. And then it went back away. And so just got to say major kudos to everyone involved in that effort. I don't want to take for granted what it's like to have what looked like at least 5,000 to 7,000 people in our downtown, maybe more, because actually I forget the baseball game. We probably had 10,000 people in our downtown on Saturday. And so I don't want to take that for granted because these were the kinds of days that we hoped and prayed for. We made the investment, and that investment has been paying off, not only economically, but also what we're seeing socially and the quality of life that our residents are experiencing. So everyone who had a hand in Saturday, major kudos to you all. Don't want to take for granted that, and looking forward to seeing that happen more and more. So thank you.
Thank you.
That was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Okay. Next on our agenda is our public comment period. We hold this public comment period at our first meeting of each month. Anyone who has signed the register will be taken in the order that they're listed. Anyone else who wants to speak and is not signed in will be taken after those who've registered. People addressing the city council are limited to 3 minutes. The clock is on the wall. Keep your eye on it. Citizens will be asked to come to the podium, state your name and address, and then you'll have 3 minutes. If, I don't think there's a large number of people here to speak on anything, but if there is, we would appreciate it if you would pick a designated speaker rather than have multiple people come up and say the same thing. All right, with that, first person on the list is Larry Diggs.
Good evening. I'm Larry Diggs, address 1127 Biltmore Avenue, High Point, North Carolina. And I just wanted to ask a few questions, try to understand this new ordinance it's come about called about the yard waste, and trying to understand the wisdom of that. I understand that now you will not be able to put out anything in plastic bags. And certainly, as far as I understand, you can like have loose leaves out anymore like this and all. And I'm just wondering, and it says that y'all they are providing like the trash can dumpsters and everything like that, where people can buy those, and then in paper bags. And I'm trying to understand, is there some kind of special paper bags that y'all don't come up with for something that don't leak or something like that? But it just, I'm trying to understand the wisdom of changing from plastic bags. I know environmentally it's probably better, but I'm trying to I like to get some comments from y'all if I can. I know I only have just a little bit of time, but trying to understand.
Would you like to give a short answer?
Happy to.
Councilman Hudson.
This is Councilman Hudson. Several of the major factors. Number one, it's time consuming because those plastic bags have to run through a processor that grinds everything. Well, those plastic bags also get ground. So at the end of that process, they have to be pulled back out. We have to do something with that pile of plastic bags, which means it just goes into our landfill. It's wear and tear on the equipment that has to do that, time consuming. While those bags that have been pulled out are sitting at the processing, they tend to blow around when it gets windy, so it makes a mess around the landfill as well. So yes, environmental, but it also just puts a big strain on our system to do it that way. If they come in as a whole bunch and get dumped in, we don't have any waste. The paper bags, the paper that you're talking about, those are biodegradable and go right into the system. We don't have to pull them back out.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So you like, if you go to a grocery store and like those kind of paper bags, you put it in.
They're actually specific bags meant to replace plastic bags.
Oh.
So they're in the larger gallon size, they're not small. If you have something that small, just put it in a tote.
Okay, right.
Really,
right,
this is for leaves when the leaf trucks are not operational. So if you have a large amount of leaves, you can
We're
put
still
it in
doing the
this.
loose
Yeah.
leaf collection.
We still do loose leaf as we always have.
Okay, loose leaf as well.
Still doing that
Well,
same
that's what
color.
I was wondering, because then too, I was getting ready to ask y'all what y'all were gonna do with the ones that come and suck up the leaves like that, because, you
You're not
know,
gonna have to bag those leaves.
I know you have a big investment in that.
Right.
And,
Those will still be the same as we have always done.
okay, let me ask one other question. I noticed y'all talked about, well, what I call blight.
We took up some of your time with our
Yeah.
answers, so go ahead.
Okay.
You can ask this question.
Okay, the house on Washington Street, at the corner of Washington and Underhill, which is the old Hoover Street funeral home, what is the status of that? Is it just going to sit there, somebody own it and it's not going to be torn down, or it's really a sore?
I don't have an answer. Perhaps we have someone from staff who can answer that question for you. Can someone provide him with an answer on that?
In terms of ownership?
I think he's wondering what may happen to it.
Yeah, it's an eyesore, and I'm just
Yeah.
saying, it's been sitting there for about 5, 6, 7 years empty.
We can have staff follow up with them Friday.
Okay, you can get back with me
Yeah,
on
we'll
that.
have someone on
Okay.
staff follow up with you.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Diggs.
Okay, next, there's actually two people signed up in one box, Bruce and Donald Shipwash. Do you guys want to speak at the same time, or? Yes. Okay, all right, come on up.
Okay, we're here today to address a zoning issue, some property at 220 Beddington Street in High Point. Beddington Street, which is on the west side of High Point, right off of Old Thomasville Road. We purchased this property in June with the intent to build some affordable housing in the city of High Point. And once we applied for our permit, we were informed that this property is zoned heavy industrial, which as of 2017 no longer permits residential construction. And we'd like to have this addressed because I own the property next door, which is residential, and it was zoned heavy industrial when I built that house. And if you look at 220 Beddington Street, everything on that side of the road is residential, and everything, it backs up to an industrial park. So it was kind of an overlay zoning thing. And we would like to see about getting this expedited through zoning to continue building some affordable housing in the city of High Point.
Planning staff sitting right there. Hold your hands up, guys.
Donnie,
That's who you need to talk to.
Donnie, is this near your storage facility?
Yes.
It is, okay.
Yeah.
If I can speak for myself. I've actually talked to planning and zoning, that's why we are here tonight. They said it is on the books, but it's in the far future. And that if we came tonight and requested y'all to expedite this process, maybe they could take a look at that much sooner.
Okay.
And that's,
Well, we'll still need a staff to look at it and see before.
Okay.
That's not something we can take action on sitting right here tonight.
Okay.
So, yeah, we'll have to have staff to evaluate what the situation is. So if you'll speak with those guys, we should be able to maybe get something moving for you. Yep.
Herb Shannon, Senior Planner with the Planning Department. I believe what they're referring to is our comprehensive zoning map amendment process, where staff we basically have a list of where we're evaluating various areas of the city, and we bring cases for you to initiate. I think what they would like for you to do is something like that. I'll be happy to meet with them and go over the process and bring back a recommendation to you as far as if you wish to initiate or not at a later meeting.
Okay. That's what I'm looking for, Herb. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Next speaker is Ken Orms.
Good evening. My name is Ken Orms. I live at 3525 Sainsbury Lane in High Point. Excuse me. The council has decided that they want to build a $70 million new city hall on the church property, but that $70 million is going to turn into $92 million if you include interest, 3% interest over 20 years. And so I think it's important that you tell taxpayers they have a right to know that it's not a $70 million repayment, it's a $92 million repayment. The church property is located nearby, and nobody really says, let's go downtown and look at the government buildings. If you want to revitalize downtown, you need apartments, you need stores, shopping, entertainment, something, anything to draw people downtown, because government buildings just don't cut it. One council member said that the current city hall might be worth $50 million, but based on recent commercial property transactions, I think the city's not going to get anywhere near $50 million. So I think it's very unlikely. The council, excuse me, is going to spend about $11 million for the church property, even though one councilman said a developer would probably only pay $4 to $5 million and then put up multi-story apartments and shopping. And if that's the case, why is the city willing to spend almost 3 times what a developer would pay? All governments typically know that projects are going to cost more than they tell the taxpayers. As an example, and you've heard it before, the $35 million baseball stadium cost over $70 million. The $18 million police headquarters cost $27 million. 6 years ago, the council wasted $141,000 for a library clock tower that recently was torn down because it didn't work, can't be fixed, and was rusting. The new $39 million STEM school in Colfax is now projected to cost $80 million, and the $1.7 billion school bonds are going to cost almost $3 billion. The Parks and Recs bonds that were approved by voters for $40 million is probably going to end up costing close to $50 million. So I would urge the council to be truthful and honest and tell the whole truth about the cost of things. It's not just a $35 million bond, it's a $35 million bond with a $50 million payback. Voters have a right to know that, and I think you should be more forthcoming and in your information that you share with everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Orm. Is there anyone else who would like to speak during public comment? Yes, sir. Please come forward, give us your name and address, and just direct your comments to the council.
Hello, my name is Joshua Causey. I'm from 198 North Hall Street in Ward 3. My biggest complaint is, like him, talking about the church. There's a mosque being built right across the street from the Allen J. Middle School, which were fought for 15 years to keep from doing. But that area is now being overran by non-citizens. The city of High Point has failed to do anything to prevent that. You walk down my road, I have a video that I took of today leading to Allen J. Middle School that has trash littered across both sides. I've told the city of High Point, nothing's ever done. We have homeless people living in our woods because I have a half an acre of land behind me that I have to harbor homeless people because their tents will be tore down by High Point Police Department. They won't dare step on my property though. I have made it my life's mission to feed and take care of my part of the community. I have no city backing. I have no church backing, which is laughable that you have the ability to pay for a church knowing that this is a secular country. We should keep church in any stated point with a state separated. We sit here and we are starving on South Main Street. We have no economic boom like Central and North Side does. Everything has been moved. All the homelessness, drug addicts, prostitution. You can walk out the street, turn left and walk down Green Street. I bet you'll find heroin needles. You'll find prostitutes scattered across in front of the courthouse. Nothing is done. We are dying. I'm 27 years old. I have lost 17 friends to this epidemic that y'all refuse to do anything for. High Point police sit here and watch them at the chicken store here off of 85 distribute heroin, meth, and other opiates at that gas station. They won't stop them. They won't do anything. My generation's dying. What are y'all going to do about it? My generation's being outran. We can't even afford houses in this city. He's talking about wanting to put livable houses in the middle of downtown. We can't even put any property on our stuff. We have empty houses that nobody can go into. My recommendation, if you refuse to help us, let us go. Send us to Archdale, where when we call 911, Gilrad and Archdale will show up. High Point never does. I just learned that in the city of High Point, when you call 911 and it's for a tragic, like a stroke or heart attack, they send you to Greensboro, not here to High Point. That's deadly. We need to really rethink about what things are going on. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Causey. Anyone else like to speak? Okay, hearing that, I'll close the public comment period. And we have a long consent agenda. Is there anyone who would like to have anything pulled from the consent agenda for consideration before we take action? Okay.
Motion to approve.
Okay, motion has been made to approve the consent agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Okay, there's a motion and a second to approve consent agenda items. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approval of the consent agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Okay, that motion passes. We have two items on the general business agenda. The first is reappointment of Kelly Jackson to the Citizens Advisory Council. Whose reappointment is this?
That's mine, Mayor.
Would you like to speak, Councilman Johnson?
Kelly Jackson, she's here. Just wave. You can wave your hand or stand up. I've known Kelly for a long time, and I was glad to appoint her to the CAC the first time. And so I'm ecstatic that she still wants to do it. She's been effective. She's been impactful to the CAC. And Mayor, I would like to recommend that we reappoint Kelly Jackson back.
Okay. So there's a motion to reappoint Ms. Jackson. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, a motion and a second. Any discussion? I'll just say thank you for being willing to serve. Sometimes it's hard to find people. So thank you for not only being willing to serve, but being able to serve again. You know,
Yes.
that's wonderful. All right, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Okay, that motion passes unanimously. Next, I'll recognize Councilmember Williams, who has an appointment to the Planning and Zoning Commission.
All right, thank you, Mayor. In consideration of all the development that's going on, and I wanted to make sure that whoever we appoint was qualified, and Steve Galante is more than qualified. I don't know if he's here or not. But I do want to make the motion to approve him to the Planning and Zoning Commission.
There's a motion, seconded by Councilmember Moore, to appoint Steve Galante to the Planning and Zoning Commission, effective immediately through June 30th, 2024. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Okay, that motion passes unanimously. There's nothing left on our agenda. Is there anyone who'd like to say anything or announce anything before we adjourn? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn then.
2 Mondays from now is the Veterans Coffee, 8:30 a.m., so
Okay,
I'll have a long day. 2 Mondays from now, 8:30 a.m., one of our assistant city managers is going to be speaking, so if you haven't heard him speak, he's going to rock the house. No pressure. But 8:30 a.m., so I'll be downtown all day, so.
if there is a motion to adjourn, is there a second?
Second.
Hey, y'all be safe getting home, y'all.
Yep. Motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, that motion passes and we are adjourned.